Our next speaker is Aseem Chandra, co-founder and CEO of Immersa. Aseem co-founded Immersa while serving as the entrepreneur in residence at Mayfield and now serves as its CEO. The company's mission is to bring data intelligence to every user in the enterprise. Previously, as Senior Vice President for Experience Cloud, Aseem was responsible for the go-to-market strategy for a $3.3 billion Experience Cloud business at Adobe. During his tenure at Adobe, he participated in the acquisition and integration of several digital marketing companies, including Magento and Marketo. Aseem is on the board of Gaja Capital, a private equity fund based in Mumbai, India. He also advocates on behalf of the Hydrocephalus Association, a nonprofit organization that directs research on behalf of those affected by brain injuries. A frequent speaker at prominent industry conferences, Aseem regularly presents on leadership, use of data to drive operations and business transformation, customer experience, and digital marketing. Aseem holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the India Institute of Technology and a master's degree in business and manufacturing systems from the University of Texas. Aseem, excited to have you. Take it away.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for that introduction. And thanks for creating this wonderful community of PLG marketers. So my name is Aseem, and I'm the co-founder and CEO at Immersa. But before I started Immersa, I was at Adobe, where I was part of the leadership team that created marketing clouds as a category. And over the past year, we've met with dozens of founders that are betting on product-led growth for building their companies in the SaaS space. We started Immersa with a mission to bring data intelligence to every user in their flow of work. And as we talked to these founders, we learned that product usage data is an untapped goldmine of signals. So I'm here to talk to you about how to leverage product data to drive sales. These signals are useful for your marketing team, your sales team, your service and finance team, not just to your product team. And as Immersa, we're really focused on bringing product data intelligence to customer-facing teams and accelerate the conversion of free trials to paid customers or to drive upsells and cross-sells and renewals. Now, why does PLG matter? This is a hot topic in the tech industry today, and the idea originated from the open source community, where investment in product experience was seen as the primary means to drive adoption. And from there, this moved on to the world of SaaS, where companies like Slack and Calendly and Dropbox, Asana, Twilio, well known for driving massive adoption using a product-led approach. Now, PLG is a pretty fundamental shift in how software is built, distributed, sold, and adopted. And I love the data that's available here from OpenView Partners, offers great research on this topic that we've quoted here. What you notice here is that PLG companies tend to start a little bit slower than SaaS companies, but they scale a lot faster after they reach a certain inflection point compared to their peers. And that inflection point is usually at about 10 million in ARR. Why is that? Well, they tend to drive nonlinear growth at scale as sales are created by optimizing product adoption and customer success rather than a forced need to generate leads. And therefore, they create nearly twice as much in enterprise value as traditional SaaS companies. Now, there are some common myths that we hear about as we talk to founders in this space. And before we dive into some of the key principles on which PLG is built from a growth standpoint, let's look at some of the myths that are out there. The first one that I hear the most often is that PLG is just free trials. Well, sure, there is an element of free trials that is needed to drive the initial user acquisition. But freemium is simply a path to introduce the end user to the product. As a PLG marketer, your job is to take that initial moment of interest and turn it into value that the users can realize immediately as they start to use the product. Another myth that I hear often is that PLG does not need sales or marketing. And sure, at the early stages of adoption, end users may sign up and use the product on their own. But as PLG companies start to scale up, marketing must create the funnel to turn those product qualified leads into revenue. And sales must engage with enterprise clients to negotiate and close on commercial terms. And this last one is my favorite, that PLG implies that the product team is in charge. Quite the contrary. PLG approaches are successful only when there's a deep collaboration between the product team and sales, service, marketing, and ops teams to convert and retain customers. So what are some of the core principles on which PLG companies can scale? Well, one of the key principles, or the first one, in our opinion, is that PLG represents a shift of power from executives making purchasing decisions to end users making those decisions. And as a startup, you must therefore engage in building your community of users alongside with building your product. This is absolutely necessary in order to connect and learn directly from your end users as you build your product. Now, trying out an early stage product requires as much effort on the part of the users as it does on the part of the company that builds it. Let users have access to the entire product during the trial period, not some subset of it. The product should create value for the user before you can charge for it. And then you can start to scale up as your consumers, as your users start to get value, that you can scale up your pricing based on consumption and actual usage. Digital marketers have invested the better part of the last decade collaborating with sales to optimize customer experiences and drive leads into the sales funnel. And an entire new multi-billion-dollar category emerged around software tools and data infrastructure known as marketing clouds, later on known as experience clouds, to achieve this goal. Now, PLG marketers must collaborate with product teams to remove friction from the product itself, from the product onboarding process, and then to optimize the in-product experience. And there is an opportunity to create a similar multi-billion-dollar category for companies that are building tools and data infrastructure that PLG marketers and product teams are going to need. So let's dig a little bit deeper and recall what the traditional marketing funnel looks like. We have invested years perfecting this funnel with algorithmic models. It begins with the marketer capturing the customer at the point of awareness and qualifying them to define their budget, to identify the decision maker, and to figure out their decision timeframe. Then they send this lead to the sales team, where a sales rep picks it up, and then she engages with the customer and takes them through the solution fit and a purchase process. Next, the product team, sometimes together with a services organization, will implement the SaaS product for that customer. And then the customer success team will meet with the customer periodically and review quarterly business goals, identify opportunities for them to get more value out of the product. And then this creates new expansion opportunities like renewals and upsell for the customer success team. The process is fairly linear and has significant room for failure at each handoff point between different organizations. So now let's take a look at what the PLG motion looks like for the same process, very different from the traditional marketing funnel. In fact, it is not a funnel at all. It is a continuous motion to create a community of users to then drive adoption with a freemium product, turn the freemium users into product champions who then advocate on your behalf and drive viral adoption. So what role does marketing play in this process? And as with any area that is going through significant changes, the role of the marketer in the PLG category is continually changing and evolving. At each step, marketers play a critical role in creating and engaging the community, then setting up an on-ramp to the free product, then collaborating with the product team to minimize the time to value for their end users, and working closely with product champions so that they can advocate on your behalf inside their organizations. While marketers have had decades of experience with the traditional B2B marketing funnel in order to generate leads, the tools that are necessary to drive the PLG motion are just being created. And every tech company that we met with is trying to cobble together a set of marketing tools that were designed to drive a traditional linear marketing funnel. And just like with traditional digital marketing, data is the fuel that powers the PLG motion, not just for marketing, but for the entire PLG life cycle. So at Immersa, we believe that product usage data is a goldmine of signals to drive PLG adoption. So for instance, take product usage data. It can help drive sales teams to prioritize accounts that are ready to move from free trials to a paid version. Or it can help sales teams figure out which customers are using more than their committed plan and help them prioritize accounts that are ready for an upsell. Product usage data can also provide services teams an early signal into account health. If the account is underutilizing the product, it is a signal for the services team to engage and avoid churn. Marketing teams can, of course, leverage product usage data to create personalized campaigns that optimize not just the web experience or the digital experience, but also the in-product experience, and then drives adoption of the product with their end user. Even finance needs product usage data to determine how to bill customers accurately for what they've already consumed. Connecting the dots between product data and other data sources across the organization is absolutely critical to drive the entire PLG lifecycle. We've talked to over 100 revenue operations teams, data analysts, and founders, and almost all of them run these data processes manually today in spreadsheets, or they try to cobble together different SaaS applications that were not designed for this purpose. At Immersa, we're building a data process automation platform to bring data usage, to bring product usage data to sales, service, marketing, and finance teams. And we would love to hear your thoughts on PLG, as well as how to automate data processes. You can check us out at immersa.co, or you can contact me at aseem@immersa.co. I'm also pretty active on Twitter, so you can find me at Aseem Chandra on Twitter. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you.